Hello and welcome to, I don't know what episode, I think 345 or 6 of the Hooniverse Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Glucker, and joining me is my podcast trader, Ron who's now the co-host of the Hoonigan Podcast.
That is a fact. That is a
welcome.
fact. But I'm not a trader. I'm still faithful to you. I'm here, aren't I?
That's true. You're just turning out for other people.
I'm not even getting paid. None of you motherfuckers pay me, so I don't want to hear shit, actually.
I know. You know what? Somebody's getting paid for that.
I'm not even a sellout.
Never us.
Exactly.
It's never us. I'm just joking. I'm curious how that's going to go. I mean, that's a cool, different venture. Nothing like Hoonigan getting into the podcast game 12 years too late, but they're into it. So I'm just giving him shit. I had shared a few messages with Scotto just the other day, randomly, actually.
Nice.
So what's going on? How you been? I feel like it's been a bit.
Yeah, it's been, a couple weeks?
Last week was my fault because I just felt like shit.
Yeah. I don't feel so hot tonight. I don't know. I'm susceptible to feeling sick with like drastic temperature change, just from moment to moment. So it's it's 90 plus degrees outside. I come in and I have air conditioning, which is glorious. So I'm not complaining, but every night, I feel stuffy and I feel like I have a head cold coming on, but then that's gone by the next morning when I turn the AC thermostat up or whatever. So, it's first world problems for sure. But, yeah, it's just damn it, man. This, I forgot that, this is a thing for me. But I'll be all right.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going through menopause. Congratulations. It's a stage everyone goes through when they hit a certain age. No, I actually, I know that the weather is changing when, even though it doesn't seem like it outside, if all of a sudden the allergies come in, I'm like, shit, it's either about to get hot or it's about to get cold. I get it on one direction or the other. And it hasn't hit yet, but we're supposed to get some heat relief on Friday.
Really? Shit. Welcome.
Yeah,
Please.
like a 10-degree change or something. But I'm heading to Button Willow, so it doesn't matter because it's hot as fuck there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I have lemons this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Racing lemons this weekend.
Nice, dude.
It's the Ranchero.
Mm-hmm.
It's back again. Fresh engine. Apparently, I asked about it, and it's because if you remember from the last race, we blew the engine up, and then we put in a different engine. Mm-hmm. The engine that we blew up had a aftermarket cam that was nice and aggressive,
right? And
then the engine we put in just had a regular stock cam, but it was a running engine, so we got to run all day Sunday. So I asked Tim, the builder, like, "Hey, did you go back and find that cam again? Because that was, that cam was fun." He's like, "No, I got a rowdier one." I was like, "Oh,
nice,
okay, yeah." He's like, "This one's crazier, but engines together." This is how lemons goes for them. Because I don't live up there, so I don't work on the car, which is why I'm responsible for food and beverage.
Right.
I asked so I think Tuesday night, he took it for a drive around the neighborhood. He's like, "Engine's back in, temps are holding, power's good, cam sounds great." I'm like, all right, so we'll fucking see what happens.
Sick.
It's not an engine that's designed to be raced, so even if it just a cruise around the block is one thing.
Right. Did you just shove the cam in there, or do retainers, valve springs, all the support?
Oh, he does all that shit. Oh yeah. I mean, he does it. He breaks the cam in with the proper oil. He even altered the radiator mount so that it's easier to get the engine in and out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Fully legit.
Where'd you go? I just lost you. Where'd you?
I'm coming back. Here we are.
Okay. And then so I'm excited because one, it's lemons. I love lemons. Our buddy Derek Gibbs is coming up. He's going to spend the weekend hanging out at the race because he's always wanted to see one. He's going to tent camp in the back of his F-250. I'm excited because I finally get to test out my tent on the Montero. It'll be the first test of that. So it'll be more comfortable than the last race. The engine sounds good. We always get a garage because we're not, heathens wrenching in the dirt. You got to get a garage at Button Willow. Otherwise, it's a nightmare. And then, so I'm excited for that. Yeah. And speaking
That's a
of,
weekend.
transition into fleet talk.
Yeah.
Montero. Since it's been a little bit, I got the Go Fast Superlight V1 is up, mounted. Bolts are Loctited in place. I've driven around with it on the truck and it hasn't moved, so that's good. It seems like it's up there well. I've tested it, climbing in and out of it. It looks good. And then I've also swapped in new rear springs.
Do you have a ladder?
I have a ladder. I don't need a ladder to get in and out of it, but while I'm there, I'll put the ladder up. But I can use my rear tire to climb up pretty easily while I've been testing things here. But I do have a ladder.
Is the ladder like loose? Like you can like hook it over and carry it in the vehicle, so it's not like permanently
100%.
mounted?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you can leave it in the tent. You can fold it up and leave it in the tent if you want.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's on the back seat of the truck right now. I have to attach these two pieces to the top, so when it's leaning, it had like these little claws grab into something. But I tested it the other day, just leaning it against the truck, and my daughter climbed up and down it, no problem. She actually climbed it up into the tent tonight, just using the spare tire like I've been doing, which was kind of funny.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I've got the fridge. I've got the solar. I've got the tent. I'm doing proper, like real white guy shit.
Get it, bro? Yeah, full on. Like how many IPAs?
I'll have my crap. I was gonna say, well, the guy who owns the car, Tim, he's like, can we not just have IPAs? Because like my stomach can't handle that all weekend. I'm like, yeah, I'll get other stuff too. Don't worry. I actually have 2 beers in my fridge. I'm gonna bring one of them. I think. I don't think I want to bring both because they were very hard to get. My friend Francois from Belgium was in town. This is the guy who owns the Mega Cruiser, who owns Chevelle in Belgium. He owns a bunch of cool shit.
It's not just a Chevelle, bro. The thing's LT4 powered, 67 Chevelle convertible. I think
it's on the road now too.
Nice.
He sent me a picture. It's on the road.
Gangster.
It is, especially over there. Like it would be cool here. It's so much cooler there. I love
exactly.
We could do a whole episode on that. I love seeing cars where they don't belong. I remember my first experience with that was it was like my first trip for work to Europe. It was my first trip to Europe, period. And I had a layover in Amsterdam, and one of the Amsterdam like fleet vehicles on the airport tarmac was a Dodge Ram. I was like, that's fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
And then we were driving Volkswagens from Berlin to Wolfsburg, and on the way we passed through this like little scenic German village, and I saw this elderly couple in like a 70 stock Nova. It was probably a 6-cylinder, but it was like dog dish wheels, completely stock, perfect. I was like, that is the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
It was probably a Vauxhall too. I don't even know if they had that version of it over there, or an Opel or something. But it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still don't know the difference between Vauxhall and Opel for Europe. Like, is Vauxhall like, I don't know, Audi to Opel's VW? Like, is it higher end?
I don't know, because there's also like Seat, which I believe is Spanish, and then there's
Seat is right, but those are VW brands.
Yeah, right. Specifically
Vauxhall,
on the
Vauxhall
GM
to
side of it,
Opel,
Vauxhall and Opel. I feel like they're interchangeable based on the market.
Yeah. We should probably
because
do some research.
there's the Saturn Sky. There's also the Vauxhall VX220, I think it was called, which is the same thing as the Saturn Sky. And then I think there's an Opel version of that convertible too. And the weird thing is, maybe it was when the Saturn Sky was already here, but one time at the original Cars and Coffee, the one that was in Newport Coast before all the other Cars and Coffees, I saw a Vauxhall Roadster, like an actual imported, because you saw the coolest shit there. But what the fuck?
I'll go down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
Right. This started with beer, right? Now I remember, because it's Francois, it's Belgium. So he brought these beers over from Belgium for me that you get at this monastery over there, and I think it's called West Valerian 12, and it's consistently rated as like one of the best beers on the planet. And it's a
Nice.
Belgian beer. I think it's like $50 a bottle, and he just
God
gave me
damn.
2 bottles. I was like, "What do I owe you?" He's like, "Nah, don't worry about it." I was like, "Okay, bro. Thank you, Francois." And so I think I'll bring one of those. I don't think I'm gonna bring both, because special occasion type thing.
Totally.
And our buddy Derek is a beer guy, so he'll appreciate the beer, and then the other guys will appreciate that it's just something fun to drink, and I'll share it with everybody.
Sure.
But that'll be good. Oh, and then I put the old Man Emu Springs in the back. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah?
the truck should be ready to rock. I just topped it off with oil because it was a little bit low. But now it's full and it sounds good. I've got coolant in the car. I've got, just all the checklists. Now, this other car right here,
Is it
this
back there?
fucking dumb thing. That's the
Jaguar?
Jag. That's the
Can't
Jaguar.
see. Do you have
Yeah,
new mood lighting in the garage? What's going on there? Looks
the neon light is
sexier
on.
than
I just
usual.
don't have the like the bright lights on.
Yeah, yeah.
So just because I don't fucking feel like staring at them.
I
So
feel like we both got the same warm glow in the background.
yeah. Yours is
I don't.
reddish. Mine is like oranges.
I
It's
was gonna say I don't
perfect.
know if it's the same color, but yeah,
Oh, they're not.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, mine's like a more of an orange. Yours is red. It's fun.
Wait, I'm talking
The
about this, like behind this dresser here, not just the seven. Can you see where I'm pointing? What's going on over here?
Oh yeah, you got. I guess
That's not red, right?
that's like a peach. It's almost like a peach color.
Oh, Georgia Peach. Here we go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
nice. There you go.
All right.
That's perfect. The Jag.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out to start it the other day and it just didn't. Like it did nothing. I was like, okay, this is good timing because Cobra sent me a portable jump pack to test. So
Right.
let's fire this up. And the thing is it's like the size of 2 iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used these packs in the past that have been bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
And one company, I forget who it was, they're like, yeah, this will fire up big engines. And I tried it
Right.
on my F100, which I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a 6.4 liter V8. Didn't do shit. It was like nothing.
Right.
I hooked it up to this 5.7 liter V8. One turn of the key, but wow, I was like, oh,
Nice.
okay, that's impressive. Yeah, super impressive. So I'm like, well, this is staying in the car. This is awesome. I got to get
Hell
another
yeah.
one for the other car. Like, this is cool to have. And then I let the car, because I needed to fix the passenger side window, which was down
Right.
for some reason. And all I did was I pulled the rear switch and I moved it over. I pulled both rear switches and I tried the other switch and it worked for the other window. And so, but it was doing it slower. So I just
Mm-hmm.
cleaned the connection, put it back in, and I got the window up. But now, because it's a Jag, it goes up on the rear switch and it goes down on the front switch.
The driver's switch.
Yeah, because there's 2 switches in the back seat, kind
Right.
of in the middle, odd placement. But I was like, you know what? The window goes up and down. My job here is done.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
don't
about
give a
right.
fuck.
We're good.
So then I left the car for a few days. I felt like I fixed something. I didn't want to push my luck and go further. I came back out to start it to drive to go get a haircut like 2 days ago. And I was like, I'm going to take the Jag. Nice, comfortable, because I got to go to Costa Mesa, which is, 20, 30 minutes away. Didn't start. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. Montero, boom, let's go.
Yeah.
So then today I had a meeting in Anaheim. I'm like, all right, I assume I'm going to have to use the jump pack. No big deal. I got plenty of time. Let's go. Fire it up. Get the car moving. And then the car's fine. AC's blowing cold. Fans working. All that shit. Driving to Anaheim. I get off the exit, which is like exit 109 to get to the convention center, which would be also where you go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm coming off the exit, coming and slowing, the car dies. I'm like, bro, what? Thankfully, the off ramp has a red light, so I can't find the hazard switch because it just turns green. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, shit. I start to open the door to like signal like, hey, bro, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And because I tried to start it, but I forgot I was still in drive, so I just bump it into neutral. With my other hand on the door, boom, fires up. All right, boom, let's get the fuck out of here. Car fires up. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I didn't do it on the way home.
Do you have a voltmeter? Like
Before? Yeah, the volts,
Charging?
that's my problem. It's at idle or just like off gas, it dips on volts. So it's just, I don't know if, because it should be plenty of alternator for the car. It should be plenty of alternator for the car. It's a fresh battery. And I mean, I don't know if it's like related to like belt slippage.
Yep.
Could belt slippage be a
100%. That was the issue that I had with my Mustang for over a year. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have enough belt wrap, so it was slipping around the alternator pulley, and the alternator was just not charging. I had to try like 3 or 4 different tensioner combinations in order to get enough wrap because my car, they like, especially when I had the supercharger, like there was no proper belt setup or belt, like recommended belt link for
Right.
a 5.8 liter Mustang, not even a 5.0, but you know, a 351 in a Fox body with no power steering, with no
Yeah.
smog equipment, and no AC. Like everybody has a kit that like eliminates 1, maybe 2, but not all 3. So
Okay.
I had belt wrap issues that prevented my car from charging for over a year before I could figure it out. Like I heat wrapped the starter. I I went through 2 different alternators and like finally figured out it's just a belt issue.
Belt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's this car too. Because after my meeting, it was at the Anaheim Convention Center. I went out to my car, fired it up, and it like fired to life. It was a little sluggish, but it does that sometimes. So I give it some gas, and I got some belt squeal. So, which leads me to
That was like the telltale for me. Like I had belt squeal all the time, which was super embarrassing and it made me not want to drive the car. And like I thought it was just an alignment issue, but it wasn't. Like I shimmed the pulleys. I did everything to get the belt alignment correct and straight, is like at least to the eye. And then come to find out that it was just a matter of belt wrap. There wasn't enough wrap around the alternator pulley to make it do its job.
They make a kit for this 350 TPI that changes it to a Serpentine, and
yeah.
I've heard
You
there's
said V
like,
belts on that thing?
yeah.
Oh wow.
So I've heard that the Serpentine belt, there's like pluses and minuses,
Sure.
where you're down to one, you switch to one belt, and then it also adds an tensioner because this doesn't have a tensioner,
Right.
and it's because I've slipped the power steering pulley on this car
Right.
when I got it stuck on the ice that one time.
Right.
Thankfully, it was an easy fix. But so I might just go in there tomorrow afternoon and just like loosen some things and just fucking crank the alternator over to pull the belt tight and see if it, because everything else is going well. It's just not. At idle, I just see the volt. So I like sit there, left foot brake, right foot, keep it at 1,000. It's like,
Yep.
this is fucking stupid. But it's old car life, man.
Yeah, man.
How many people do that? Like even in the good car, the Montero, if I have the AC on, sometimes when the compressor really kicks, like the idles drop, it doesn't go anywhere, but it's like, feels like 200-300. It's like, so the engine's like blah blah blah, and so you fucking give it some juice and just let it sit at like 800. Dumb shit like that, and that's the good car. And no, actually, the real good car is the Mazda, and the rear passenger window like is sitting half an inch low now. It's like, what are we doing here? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Now, before we jump to your fleet, I just thought of more modern cars, and this can be a segue because it'll be an Audi. So we'll segue to your shit. I just spent a week with the RS3.
Oh, no shit.
Yes. And I highly recommend it. It was...
Okay, so you're taller than me, and you're able to get comfortable in that car? Like,
yes.
do you not feel ridiculous? Like, I hate to say it, but like, I like that's a car that I'm definitely interested in. Like, I think I would enjoy driving and like modifying and like building to my taste, but it's like, it sounds shitty to say, but I feel like it's a step down from an RS or an S7, like big body car.
Oh, I get that.
To basically a compact. But I still think that car is cool as fuck, and like I like it, but I just wonder if I would be comfortable in it, or if it would be like, if I would just feel cramped and like, oh man, all my shit doesn't fit. Like right now,
You'd be comfortable.
I moved with my S7. Like I folded the seats flat. I took the like storage dividers out and like the privacy shade, took those out, and I packed like a huge, like, I don't know, it's probably like 5 foot by 2.5 or 3 foot like crate, like, like roller like tub in the back of that thing. Like that's how I moved most of my like small items and bullshit from my old apartment to my new apartment. It's like that thing wouldn't fit in most SUVs, like mid-size
Right.
SUVs or crossovers and shit. But like with those seats folded down, like it just barely fit. And I feel like I'd be giving up a lot of utility with an RS3, but it might be worth it.
You
Like
would. You
this
you
shit
would definitely
looks
give up the utility, but the seats. I will say the back seats do fold because I put some.
hmm,
I had to pick up some outdoor patio cushions that we had reupholstered and got them in. They folded down, and then like you'll be comfortable, but no one will
yeah,
fit behind you.
well, yeah, yeah,
You know, but the car whips.
yeah,
It legitimately sounds like once you're up in the rev range, like there's a Lamborghini in the distance behind
right,
you.
yeah,
It's wild. It 401 horsepower. The crazy torque rear RS drive mode where it sends any of the rearward power. It does 100% to the outside wheel. I didn't get
right,
it to put it into a drift
yeah,
because I wasn't in an area to do that. But
yeah.
it seems like it's not
There's
so much a drift mode
it's not
as it
really
is
what you
a
want. Yeah,
no. It's get around a racetrack more fun and
yeah,
faster it's the color wasn't for me because it was that like a
crazy,
very Lamborghini color.
like
I think it's called
lime
like
green, like
Kaliyama green or something,
yeah.
like bright green. Because it even had like green accents in the car. I was like, knock this shit off. Like
That shit
I
would
like
look
it more
yellow to
so.
me, so it probably wouldn't be as offensive, but still, I don't
Yeah,
want all that brightness in my face all the time.
carbon ceramic front brakes, like
No shit.
ridiculous. Yeah, and it was funny because the rear brakes almost look like A3 brakes. So like the size difference was comical.
No
Not that,
shit.
in a situation like that, all your power's front brakes anyway. But car drove so well. Steering was great.
What's
It
sticker
whipped,
on
man.
that car? I don't know that. So I
I,
may
I
not even
want to
be
say
able to
like
afford that.
I want to say base price is like 60 and then most are going to be like 70 something.
Yeah.
So it's not
Okay.
cheap, but it was dope. Now, like I said, good segue. What's going on in your car world?
Not much, man. I mean, with my own personal stuff, like there's been little activity. I've just been daily driving the Audi. Like I said, I moved with it over the last month and, transported wheels and tires like to and from the shitbox speakeasy. And like, I just picked up some stuff from there. Like I dumped a bunch of stuff over there a few weeks ago, and I just picked it up and brought it back to the house today. But I mean, that thing is doing, knock on wood, that thing is doing exactly what I need it to do, what I want it to do, and like no issues, no qualms. I want to paint the wheels on that car. I think I want to paint them a two tone. I don't know if I talked about this before, but like Porsche white gold, like the
Oh yeah,
finish
yeah.
that they do on like the Cayenne Turbo GT and some
Uh-huh.
GT cars like GT 911s. So I want to paint them that color and just switch it up and kind of brighten them up. I hate all black wheels, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to, now that I'm done moving and I'm kind of settled in, like I feel like I can, switch back on the other wheels and send those out to paint and stuff. And I got to send that car to service. It's due for service, but with full factory warranty, like I'm expecting no issues. I may have to pay. I know that the car has a blown motor mount, and the motor mounts in that car are electronic and they're expensive and they're labor intensive to repair. So I think my deductible with the warranty is like $250. So I'm expecting that, but like that's that. The Mustang, I am prepared to get back on the road. I want to do the Holly Terminator EFI on that, and so hopefully I can get that to a shop in the next couple weeks and enjoy that car in the winter because it's definitely not a summer car. I hate driving that car in the summer in the heat. So
Yeah.
that's that. Get rid of the K10. I've got all the
Mm.
parts in place for that, and once I can focus, once I get this Porsche out of the way, like that's almost done.
Right.
We talked about the Porsche coming back from the body shop a couple weeks ago. Now it's out for AC service. Like the AC wasn't functioning, and I don't want to deliver a car that's not like completely 100% functional. So we're addressing that, and I should have that out of my hair hopefully in the next few days, next week, and then I'll switch to the K10, get rid of that, and then the Mustang and the Lincoln. So it's
Sweet.
like, yeah, it's like shit moves slowly, but then things move quickly, like unexpectedly, and you just kind of got to be ready to go with the flow and like, all right, like let's send this here, let's send that there, like get everything out to the appropriate shops, and hopefully I'll have a winter of enjoying three different cars,
There
maybe
you go.
four. Yeah.
Nice. That'd be fun. Sliding over to Instagram. Time Paradox 7 asks, what's your opinion on the 80s C4 Corvette? It's grown on me in the last few years. It's not something I like personally seek out, but I mean, I will say there's been some cool builds lately, and
Yeah.
it's not something I would buy, but I don't hate it.
Right. So he specifically asked 80 C4. There's not an 80
Yeah,
C4 that I want, except for maybe like an 89 Callaway.
ZR1.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the ZR1 debuted in 90. So technically, there's the only 80 C4 that I would consider would be a twin turbo Callaway model. But
Okay.
even then, that's so far down. Like I would rather have any ZR1, stock ZR1,
Yeah. Right.
a Grand Sport or a Collector's Edition, which were the last year, I think 95, 96.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And they had little spats in the back, so they had the ZR1 like wider wheels, and
Oh yeah.
I mean to change the wheels anyway, but like it's just cool to have like the big beefy wheel and tire package from the factory, right? But I mean my ultimate, like one of my favorite cars ever, at least top three, would be the Callaway Speedsters, like twin turbo Callaway Speedsters that had like no roof. They had like the
Right.
fairings, they had like Lexan short windows
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
wrapped around into like basically like a fairing and headrest, and like they were just super sick and obnoxious. It's like, okay, you bought a car that doesn't even have a roof. There's no
Right.
convertible, there's no like clip on or like snap in top. Like that is a fair weather only car. And they were like some of the most ridiculous color schemes too. Like the press car was like this bright metallic green with like a navy
Mm.
blue interior, and like green piping. It was just
Jeez.
like ridiculous. And it's like I like that about them. But the regular C4s, the 80 C4s, like trash. Like the 4+3 transmission,
Oh yeah.
the crossfire injection. Like until you got into the LT1 and LT4s, those cars are trash. Like it just, my buddy and I in college, well, I mean, that's cool in that car, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but like,
For those of you listening, not watching, I was pointing to my Jag.
right, which has a tune port TPI
Yes.
350, right? Like basically like an
Though
80s
apparently this one
vet
came out of
motor.
like a Firebird. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember that they had TPI, that weird like asymmetric intake.
I mean, they might have.
Probably
Well,
true.
someone said, yeah. I'm sure there's a mix and match of shit going on
Yeah, I
there
mean, you
though
could
too.
throw
So
the vet intake onto any small block, probably,
right,
whatever.
right.
Well,
Time paradox.
I think I answered that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another question from the same person. Advice on building a car audio system: is mixing speaker brands a bad idea? I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, you
No.
just got to get the power and output that you want, and the size, and if there's someone makes a three-way 6x9 that you want, and then a different brand makes the little fucking things for your dash,
Right.
do what you got to do. Yeah, have
Yeah,
fun.
I'd say take it as a case by case basis and do what feels right and what's recommended. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be a car audio expert, even though I did installs like 20 plus years ago. But like, it reminds me, this might be a weird like analogy, but obviously I'm into like interior design and like architecture and shit. And somebody was just like, don't buy like, some interior, like professional interior designer, somebody that actually gets paid to do this. Like, was like, the worst thing you can do is buy every single item from one manufacturer. So it's
Mm,
like, you have all West Elm, and it's like your shit looks like a showroom. It looks like it looks silly because it's like it doesn't really have a character. It looks like a photo shoot all the time.
right.
And I don't know, that's not what you want from like a livable perspective. And I feel like it's the same for car audio. Like everybody has their strong suits, and it's like you'll get an amp from Pioneer and speakers from Alpine or
Right.
whatever. Like, it's like figure out what you want from your system. Like, do you want pounding bass that like gets attention everywhere you go? Probably not. But like if you just want clear sounds, like go with the speakers that are recommended for your car. and, listen to experts and like how to power those and like not overpower those. Just
Yeah,
there's
I'm trying to
nothing wrong with
remember.
mixing and matching. I feel like the only people that
No.
build a system with one brand's components are like old school shops that like were sponsored by those brands and like were in SBL competitions and they swore by,
Yeah.
this one brand sub, but then they had to buy everything from them or like use
Yeah.
everything from them. And it's just like, that's not real world application.
100%. I agree with all of that. I was trying to find the brand. I forget what speakers I had installed in the back and the doors of, I got to look at it in the Montero, but they're different than the speakers I personally installed in the dash of the Montero. And then obviously the heads unit's different because of that crazy 90s JDM head unit.
It's so
And then
sick.
the
Yeah,
amp. So,
exactly. It's like you
and I
totally
love the
limit
way it
yourself when
sounds.
you're just like, I only use such and such because like,
Right.
you know, like the best speaker manufacturer probably is not going to be the best head unit manufacturer, like
Yeah.
or
Right.
amp.
Right. Yeah. And like on my Benz, I had all Clarion because Clarion paid for it. So
Sure,
like, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like a
that's
sponsored
right.
build is going to be all one brand, but like if you go to
Exactly.
most stereo shops, they're going to be like, okay, use this with that with this doohickey over here. Like they're going to mix it
Yep.
up based on experience and like, yeah.
100%. MP wears best summer tires for a hot hatch daily '07 Mazda Speed 3 with that does 20,000 miles a year. Follow up, scared of low tread wear on PS4S. And when they went sent Fredestein.
Oh, well, there we go. I'll be right
Yeah, I
back,
mean, yeah, sir.
but I'm here.
I mean, I just shot a commercial for Vredestein, so yeah, sure, buy Vredesteins. But also, I really still love Michelin and BFG. But you don't need the PS4Ss. I mean, you can back it down. BF Goodrich has some, not just off road tires; they have some good street tires too. But
Yeah.
20, yeah, for a hot hatch daily summer tires, so you're only, like you said, 20,000 miles a year. You'd be fine on the PS4Ss. You'd have a blast.
Well, where is he located? And like, when is he using the car? If it's
What
Southern
type of
California
roads
year
too, I
round,
guess.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
so
mean,
many
SoCal's
questions.
different. Sure, there's more questions. Ask more questions again. I play with cars. Asks if you and Ron were to buy a car together, what would it be and why?
That's a
That's a
good one.
great question. I had one that immediately sprung to mind, but
You've had
I don't
time
know
to
how
think
you
about
would feel.
this.
Right. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but the thing that I thought of was a Buick Riv.
What year? Mid 60s?
What is it? Which one has the headlights? 63?
The clamshell headlights?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's like 63, 64. So 100% agree. Yep. There we go. I didn't know that. I did not expect that from you, but yep, absolutely. 100%. That is a
Nice.
must own bucket list vehicle.
Yes. I was talking to a guy who I haven't seen in a long time, but I ran into him at Autopia, and he has a 63 Riv that was once owned by, I think he said like Sinatra's son or some shit. Like it has
Jesus.
like some hot, yeah, and it went to somebody else, and then it went to him, and it's like fully murdered out too. It's sick as
Yeah.
hell.
But that's a car that I could own completely stock or any level of
Yeah,
modification, right? Like,
yeah,
it
I
doesn't
agree with
matter.
that.
Like,
Yeah, I agree
okay,
with that.
cheers.
Kevin Carey asks thoughts on importing a Pajero Evo to a state that's not California. It's funny you say that because I know someone who has imported a Pajero Evo to California. I don't think it's registered and plated here, but they live here. Yeah, go for it if you can do it. Right now, you can find them in good shape but with higher mileage in Japan, and it's less expensive than you think. So, go
What,
nuts.
like, are they 25-year
Yeah.
legal? Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 25 grand.
No.
What
Like, I don't
I
know
don't
what
remember
years
what year.
these things are.
I thought the Pajero Evo was like a 1 year only thing, but I could be Evo production because they didn't make a lot of them. Sorry, it's 97 to 99, and they made about 2,500 of them. But I think there was I think it was pretty much initially just a Japan only thing. I could be wrong about that. but they've obviously filtered out around the globe a little bit. Yeah, if fucking get one over here if you can. Thoughts on the 2023 C63 Mercedes being a 4-cylinder hybrid? I mean, that's the power numbers are sick, so
Yeah.
it's hard to argue with that. What is it, like
670
670
horsepower combined? Yeah.
It's going to sound like garbage, which is a bummer
Well,
because the
it actually
C63
sounds
is
like
mostly sound.
it actually sounds like nothing, and that is my biggest problem with it. Like, it doesn't
Mm.
sound like anything. Like, Johnny posted a video a couple days ago of the car going around the track, and like, it's just air. Like, it doesn't have
Mm.
any like signature sound. It doesn't sound like, an RB. It doesn't sound like a 2J. It doesn't sound like a, naturally aspirated V8. It's just air coming out of the exhaust and wind noise as the car goes by. Like,
Huh.
doesn't sound like anything. So that's super disappointing, but it's also better than manufactured sound.
It's also better. I mean, after seeing the photos leaked of the M2, like, oh my God. Like, give me the
Yeah.
C63 all
Yeah.
day, every day.
That thing was
That's
designed with like a right angle and nothing else. Like, there's
it's.
just no
I think
flow.
I think it was Zach Clapman who said when you order your M2 on Wish or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Oof, it looks awful.
Okay, well, what about the new XM? Like, I don't know if that was a question that was coming up,
I
but
don't
like,
care for it. I
it's
think it looks better than
hideous,
the
bro.
M2.
I
Yeah, I think it
don't.
looks better than the M2.
I mean, the
I saw
M2
it in all
looks like a
black.
conventional car. It looks like it's an uninspired design that was designed with just right angles in mind.
It looks like a Chinese knockoff, the M2. It looks
Right,
like,
right,
from like a
right.
few years ago, because they've gotten much better on their knockoffs.
But that XM, bro, you
I don't like it.
completely lost me. The grill
Yeah,
is illuminated, so it's just like, look at me, look how ridiculously large I am, look how oblong and just un like it just doesn't fit. But it's beyond the
yeah,
grill, like just the shape, like the lighting, like all the lighting is so minute relative to the surface area that it has to fill. So it's just like,
yeah.
yeah, you gotta blow up the grill, which isn't even a grill because it doesn't take in air. I don't think. I could be confused here, but
They usually take
like,
in some air to cool batteries and shit.
right. But it's just like, dude, like BMW has become a character of itself. Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
it's like if you gave first year design students, inspiration, said, what do you see this car becoming 20 years from now? Like,
Or
that's what they come
it's
up
like
with.
the current
It's just
it's like the
outrageous
current
design.
trend of like AI art where somebody entered the prompt. Like I was literally doing this while I
Sure,
was waiting for you to
sure.
come on. I was doing AI art, but it's like someone's like BMW XM SUV 20 years
Yeah,
future, like,
yeah,
and like the AI is like, bleh.
exactly. hmm
So I don't
It's
know.
like,
Uh,
it's not fashion forward. It's just,
no, it's trash. Makes Bengals shit look like
yeah, like, you
historically
think
fantastic.
you'd think they learned their lesson. It's just like
His stuff is
people
aged
want
well.
it's age okay. I don't know about that. Like that
Well,
six
compared
series,
to how where we're at
The
now,
E63 6 series, the E60 or E65, excuse me, 7 series. Like, they're not very desirable. I don't see those ever becoming desirable cars just because they're
mm,
overly complicated, trash fucking motors, and they're just not very good looking. But like,
okay,
you'd think they learned their lesson, is my point.
yeah,
Like, it's like the best BMWs were the most conservative appearing.
yes,
E38s, E39s. Like, it's just like,
yeah, I agree with that.
distill the concept of whatever it is, sport sedan, sport coupe, SUV, just like take it and like
Mhm.
distill it. Like, get rid of all the
Yep,
bullshit.
I
Now
do
it's
agree with
just
that.
bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah. Um, now it's hold on. That's a good title. Now it's just bullshit. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Next question. If you could design Tesla's next production vehicle, what would it be? A new Model S, a Cybertruck, blah, blah, blah. I think the Model S could do for a redesign, but
God
for
damn, it's 10 years old.
it's super old. I think that if they made just because what do they have? The Model Y because I don't think you go smaller than a Model Y. I'm just thinking of a way to like add an even higher volume vehicle for them. If I was like, if just to make more money, and it's with a crossover. So it either needs to be below the Y or between the Y and the X, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't really care. Fuck Tesla.
yeah, I don't think there's room for another crossover. They just
Right.
need to make the shit that they've teased. Like they would crush
Yeah,
if they made the Cybertruck, which I don't think will ever get made. But I'm
I agree.
thrilled that I'll never have to see that on the road, honestly.
I
But
agree. And when
the
I have that
Roadster,
conversation with people who aren't car people, by the way, they're like, "Oh, I put $100 down. I'm like, when do you think it's going to happen?" I'm like, "Hey, man, can you get that $100 back?"
yeah,
Because
it ain't
right,
like you contributed to that crazy market valuation, but you ain't ever going to see that vehicle.
right,
I mean, I kind of feel the same way about the Roadster. I'm like, the Roadster was an evolutionary design. It wasn't super sexy, but it's like, an addition to a fleet if you are a Tesla fan.
yeah,
And,
with
it's
money,
like, yeah, and you want a weekend cruiser. You want something to go from LA to Santa Barbara or to Palm Springs with and like look sexy, have the top down, you got the fastest thing on the road, like
right?
that would have been cool, and like I didn't think it was super sexy, but it's just like that would be the design evolution for them. It's just to expand into another kind of elitist body style. Like,
Sure, sure.
it's like fuck them kids. It's just the two of us getting away for the weekend, but really quickly and silently.
Yeah, there you go. J.A. Whitehead asks, "What MTB do you ride?" I ride a 2020 TReK Fuel EX 9.8 with. I've upgraded the front forks to Kashima uppers, some other upgrades, and I'm also adding GX Eagle Access drivetrain to it right now because I'm a dumbass.
Fuck
That's just
yeah.
I know it's expensive mods for bikes.
But hold on,
Basically,
hold on, hold on. I felt like that was like a Hellcat jailbreak like model name. How many syllables and how many different words was that?
well, the model name is just Fuel EX,
Okay.
and then the trim is 9.8,
Okay.
but then the
Okay.
rest of it was mods,
Right. Okay.
basically. So, uh, so it's not that bad. It's not, yeah.
Dodge Charger Hellcat
Right. And
SRT.
then if you really want to get into it, J.A. Whitehead, I want to eventually trade the fuel in for the Slash, which is a different TReK model. FJ Cruz asks, how would you compare the Defender you just drove to a Bronco for all-around use? Because I don't think we've actually talked about this, and I'm not going to go into it on this episode. I'll save it for the next one because I don't want to go that long. But we did the TReK Land Rover thing again. Speaking of TReK, even though it's not related, it's not the same TReK. And we fucking won again, and we kicked ass. And yeah, exactly. So, but I'll get into that later. But I did drive a Defender. Those Defenders I used for that are 4-cylinder models, which are fine in most situations. Actually, it's better than you would think, even laden with all the shit they had on it. Because it was fully set up with rooftop 10 and a fridge in the back and all this crazy shit. And then, so comparing Bronco to Defender, and it's good too because I just had the Bronco Raptor. The Bronco Raptor is, I love it. I absolutely love it. But if I were to buy a vehicle to live with on a daily basis, I'd probably get a V8 Defender. It's just more refined. I know the Bronco Raptor is hilarious and fucking awesome, and I love it, and I really do love it. But the V8 Defender is just a little classier, can go everywhere. I wouldn't jump
But
it
what's
like I would
what's the premium there though? Like, are
the
you
price
saying
premium.
cost no object?
Well, so the Bronco Raptor I drove is 80. We'll
Damn,
exclude markups
really?
here. Yeah. Oh yeah. As tested, it was 80. We'll exclude markups because that Bronco Raptor in real
Right.
life is 100.
Right.
105, whatever, if you're on the list. The V8 Defender I think I drove was like 112. So that's a pretty big swing, barring markups. However, the
But I
Defender's
imagine there's
clearly
markups on the Defender as well, no? Even
on the
still, a year
V8s,
later?
probably on the
Yeah.
V8s. I don't think so on the regular ones. I don't
Right.
think so. I mean, there's markups on
I'm
fucking
talking about the
everything.
V8. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? I mean, there could be markups on all of them for all I know. But the I mean, there's markups on like Toyota RAV4 Primes.
Everything, bro.
The
Subaru Foresters. It's outrageous.
yeah. The I just the Defender is so well rounded and nice. Both the Defender and Bronco are nicer on road than a Wrangler. I don't know. The Defender is just a cooler vehicle, and historically, like I've aspired to own a Defender someday. I want an older one, but it's been an aspirational vehicle for me personally. The Bronco Raptor, though, it rips so hard. I loved it. Loved it.
Is it fun on the street?
Yes, it is if you enjoy driving off-road vehicles, because like I'm very curious of these rich assholes. No offense, rich ass. Well, offense. Fuck you. These rich assholes who maybe haven't driven a vehicle like this, and they're like, "Oh, I'm getting the newest toy." Right. There's 13 inches of front travel, 14 inches of rear travel. So under braking, that nose dives, and I love it because it's hilarious. And then under hard braking, the rear end can step with a short wheelbase.
That'd be sick. It's like driving a trophy truck.
It's totally like driving it. And the first time it did it, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. But then I knew to wait for it, and I was having an absolute blast. And you put it in sport mode, and it actually stiffens up, and you can like handle a curvy road better than you think. But like put it in Baja and then switch it. When you put it into Baja mode, it then wants to go into 4-wheel drive, but then you just hit it back into 2-wheel drive while staying in Baja mode. And dude, just grab the paddles because it's better than letting the gearbox shift by itself.
No shit.
And it does this thing in Baja mode where, though the engine is more responsive in sport mode, though they say it's more responsive in Baja mode because the turbo like pre-spools or some shit like that, so there's no lag. Right. But I also feel like they mute the throttle pedal a little in Baja mode, so you're not getting into trouble in the dirt. Whereas in sport, if the throttle feels more immediate. But you can customize the drive mode to like mix and match. So if you could find a way to like, I just don't think they let you tweak the full engine spread between sport and Baja, but you can do like steering and suspension and shit like that.
Right.
So if there was a way to combine sport and Baja, then you would have the best of both worlds, in my opinion. But the truck rips, and again, I can't say enough good things about it.
Like you talked about dive, but could you potentially get it on 3 wheels, like acceleration and cornering, like going around?
I didn't lift an inside wheel.
Possible. Yeah.
I didn't try to lift an inside wheel, but I mean, I was doing donuts and shit like that, and it wasn't lifting the wheel, which is good actually because it was keeping that shit planted. But I mean, I also got it on no wheels. I got it into the air.
I know you jumped it, but I'm talking about on road.
No,
like,
I didn't.
I just love that. Like, I mean, we see it here in Southern California. There's probably not too many places where you see guys with pre-runners that like will literally lift an inside tire, just like turning left, like turning right, going into like a driveway. Like, I don't know. I think
it's
a
flex.
Yeah. Exactly.
Literally.
It's like to see that tire like just stop moving as you're pulling into a driveway or accelerating around a corner, like that's just like that's
gnarly.
That's pre-runner shit. It is. I would hope that my Bronco Raptor would be able to accomplish. But
if you couldn't do it, I'm sure there's an easy suspension mod to get it to do it.
Aftermarket solution for sure.
Oh yeah, get it to lean just further over on the one side. Yeah. Well, it's probably just disconnecting the sway bar, which you can do on that car. So that's probably all it is. Ultramotive, what's the tackiest OEM accessory / option, and is it the Benz lighted star on the A220? That's way up there. Yeah. I don't like illuminated badges on anything. I don't like it. It's not for me.
I agree with that.
My really good friend from back east, he pretty much just, whenever the newest Yukon comes out, he's like, all right, that's his car. He just wants the Yukon. Sure. He also has like an 09 GT500 in the garage too, like the sketchiest one ever made. But he rolls that car nicely. It's funny that But the Yukon, that's the car. Getting the newest Denali, wants it. He sent me the order sheet literally like last week or earlier this week. He's like, hey, look this over. Is there anything I didn't get or I shouldn't get? I'm like, did you meet? And he didn't. His salesman was trying to upsell him to like the Denali Ultimate, which is some new crazy trim level with like, I'm like, oh shit, you're getting the Denali Ultimate? Like, damn, you're really all right. And I'm like, but did you know it comes with, I know it does the illuminated or the projected logo on the ground, which that's fine. I don't care about that.
That's what I was just about to ask you. Really?
I don't care about that. That doesn't bother
Okay.
me. RS3 even had that the other day because like you only see it like then, you know. But I'm like, because it's an option now on the Yukon is an illuminated GMC badge in the nose.
Really?
You mean to check that? Because like I'm gonna be honest with you, I find that shit corny. He's like, no. He's like, I actually also don't want the Ultimate, so I got to talk to this fucking salesperson. I just want a Yukon Denali. He's like, I want it black. I want it with the regular interior. I'm like, yeah. He's like, just one. He's like, I don't like Escalades. I like Denalis. I mean, he can afford the fucking Escalade. He just doesn't want it.
If you can afford a Denali, you can afford an Escalade. But like,
even though I was trying to talk him into the V.
it has. Oh my god, dude. Like it's the silliest shit ever.
Yeah, it is.
When you get that, you have to come pick me up. That's something I have
will.
to ride in. That is just the most ridiculous thing ever.
It rips, and it sounds better than the Corvette.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be the loudest SUV on the planet. It has
It's fucking awesome. But to get back to the question, yes, I think I hate the lighted stars. I don't like illuminated badges. So I think, for modern OEMs, it's probably. I think you're right.
What was the question?
What's the tackiest OEM accessory slash option?
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna beat that. But like, what I've noticed since you had the new S8, like a couple months ago, I've noticed a bunch of Audi S and R. Well, no RS models, but I've noticed a few S models with black optic, but chrome exhaust tips.
Oh, you keep seeing it.
Yeah, that just seems to be the thing now. Like I was behind an S4 today and an S3, and they both had black optic. They had all the chrome, all the window trim, everything blacked out, but they had dual chrome exhaust tips. And
I think I just might have figured out why. I think they're saving the black exhaust tips for RS models because the RS.
My car is black optic with black exhaust tips. Most of them were like. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't understand why they're doing it. Like, it can't be easier to chrome. Like, coming from a custom wheel guy, background experience, like, it's definitely not easier to chrome than to paint or powder coat black.
Sure.
Like, no matter where you're at in the world, it's easier to black it out. So I don't really understand that design decision to leave chrome exhaust tips on a car that has no other chrome trim.
Okay.
I agree with you. The glowing emblems is the worst, but like this is my second.
Okay. That dude Pasha asks, will you face Cummins R28 no carb reality and just do an LS in Tony? No, I will not LS the Montero, but I don't know. I don't honestly have any real engine swap plans for it anytime in the future. I'm focused on other mods. I would like to do one at some point, but it's going to be a ways away. The car stuff is figure the Jag out, sell it, actually make progress on the Benz, and just be happy for a bit. We'll see how long that lasts though. But yeah, that's where I'm on that. And that's all I got this week because I have to get up early tomorrow for the OC Auto Show.
Oh yeah,
where I'm doing live segments with whoever the Fox LA affiliate is.
Oh boy. Well, I would say I'd tune in, but it'd be easier for me to just drive it. Well, is it in Anaheim?
Yeah.
I won't be going. I won't be joining you.
I'm on it.
For lunch somewhere in between, but I will tune in then. I'll get my YouTube TV going on my iPad.
I think I'm on it like 6:20, 7:20, 8:20, or like 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30.
Is Josh joining you?
Is what?
Josh? That last year, I think that OC Auto Show, I saw Josh on TV randomly.
Oh, really?
Like on local news, yeah. I meant to message him, but I just... Yeah, I know, but I don't know.
No.
He comes,
No,
he
this
goes. I
is
don't know. Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no, sir. I'm just talking to whoever the anchor guy is about a different segment each time. Like,
Well, I'll be watching and recording.
all right, great. Hopefully I fuck up and you record it. That'd be fantastic. That's where we are this week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Wrap up lemons, and then I'll talk about the Land Rover shit, and
Cool.
we'll see what's going on.
Later, folks.